I hear you'll be begging for my help soon. Better get ready, little fish. With that, the grandma tossed the button at the girl like it was a hot potato. Little fish regained her senses. The grandma had vanished like a ghost. Soon, the police and her boyfriend Tom arrived, presumably to search for her lost phone. On the way home, little fish relaxed her stressed nerves, but then suddenly sensed something was off, like an invisible stalker was tailing her. Out of the blue, she spotted a fortune-telling shop and saw an opportunity. She told Omi she wanted a reading. Though skeptical, he couldn't resist her hopeful gaze. Once inside, a man with a scruffy beard and weird clothes, let's call him Y, walked out. He took one look at Little Fish and knew she was no ordinary girl. Claiming to be a prophet, he said he could see things others couldn't. Omi thought, this guy is definitely a scam artist. Omi tried to leave with Little Fish, but curiosity made her sit, pulling out her wallet instantly. She raised Little Fish's hand and struck a mystical pose. Your job's about money, and you lost something recently, Little Fish thought. I didn't lose anything. Oh, that button. Just as the girl pondered this, Y's expression turned pale, as if he'd seen a ghost. Terrified, she claimed she hadn't finished packing. I need to rush home, talk about drama. But Little Fish knew things weren't that simple and quickly grabbed him, insisting he explain. With no choice, Y reluctantly informed her. He said she was targeted by an old lady, and based on Y's current powers, he wasn't her match. But Omi didn't buy it at all. He told Little Fish to relax and not let any ghosts scare her, but deep down, she felt something was off indeed, something supernatural was afoot. Back home, Omi hurried off to work, leaving Little Fish alone. Just then, something unexpected happened. A gust of eerie wind blew in, accompanied by strange noises. Following the sounds, Little Fish found the iron gate in her yard creaking ominously. The wind seemed to have a mind of its own, wreaking havoc in Little Fish's home, causing everything to jingle like a bad Christmas, some even cutting the power. The girl hurried for a flashlight but saw leaf shadows flickering, thinking, wow, tonight is quite the spectacle. Suddenly, a shadow lunged toward her and delivered a hard slap to Little Fish, sending her flying out with great force straight toward the door that Omi happened to be pushing open. Omi couldn't believe what Little Fish had gone through, thinking it was all a prank by that old lady. He reassured Fish it was all in her imagination. To spare Omi, she admitted being overly sensitive. For more suspenseful comedies, subscribe to the channel. The next day, just as Little Fish arrived at the bank for work, her rival Taro came to stir up trouble, insisting she teach him how to apply for a loan. He threatened her that if she didn't teach him, he'd go kiss up to the bank manager. Little Fish had no choice but to hold back her anger and sat down to teach him slow. But just then, Little Fish noticed Taro's hand resembled the old lady's, sending her into a breakdown. Little Fish got serious, angrily shouting at Taro, "Get your filthy cause off my desk." Confused, Taro walked away as Little Fish's nose bled. The manager passing by told her to clean it up. Little did she know, she ended up spraying the manager like a fountain, making her realize the old lady's warning. She'd rather never see her again. So Little Fish skipped her shift and rushed to the address, only to find it was the old lady behind the door, but a girl asking if she came to apologize. Little Fish quickly admitted her mistake, promising to return the house to the old lady, and the girl let her in. But upon entering, there was nobody in sight. The girl urged her to go deeper into the house, and before long, it felt like a party erupted inside, with people dropping in from nowhere, while the old lady had turned into a photograph. It seemed the old lady had just passed. As Little Fish stepped back in shock, she knocked over a table leg, spilling the old lady's spirit out. The spirit landed right on top of Little Fish, spewing some eerie liquid from her mouth. The old lady held onto Little Fish tightly until she finally yanked a handful of her. It was clear that getting forgiveness was impossible now, so Little Fish had to think of other solutions and sought Y's help again, hoping he could assist her through this ordeal. After some analysis, Y confirmed that the old lady had put a curse on Little Fish. He'd take the girl in 3 days, banishing her soul to the underworld. Little Fish, terrified, urged Y to find a solution quickly. Y pondered for a moment, then suggested Little Fish sacrifice her beloved pet. Little Fish was left dumbfounded, thinking, how do you expect me to do that? Little Fish claimed to be a vegetarian who couldn't eat meat. Y didn't believe her, saying, you'll find out. Just returning home, the iron gate creaked again, and Little Fish nervously turned around to see what was up. To her horror, a shadow flashed across her window. Little Fish bravely stepped outside, only to be scared back inside, her heart pounding. She wanted to call Omi to prove she wasn't lying, but her phone cruelly died on her. The screen flashed the old lady's face terrifyingly, and the shadow at the door crept toward Little Fish. The shadow lifted Little Fish, spinning at 360 degrees in a beautiful arc. Next, it performed a jump and split, then twisted 180 degrees mid-air and landed with perfect form, showcasing exceptional technique and rhythm. Little Fish finally understood she was in deep trouble. To appease the old lady, she can only tearily decide to sacrifice her cat. Omi returned, noticing Little Fish looked unwell, and suggested postponing the visit. Little Fish thought sacrificing her cat would spare her from the old lady. She dressed up nicely to visit what might be her future in-laws, but during dinner, a hilarious drama unfolded. Out of nowhere, she heard creaking again, and looked at the cake, which seemed to contain a creepy eyeball. She tried to stay calm to avoid embarrassing herself, but found nothing unusual. As she reached for a fork, the cake looked perfect again. But the fork vanished. At that moment, Little Fish suddenly started coughing, and a fly flew out of her mouth. With the irritating noise continuing, she snapped, grabbed her mother-in-law's antique cup, hurling it while yelling. Having ruined everything at the future in-law's home, Little Fish was fuming and stormed off to find Y.